Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. All right, y'all, how about Shem Yahushua Barakatah? I wanted to reach out real quick. Hey, look, just seen a video that we gotta respond to, right? Time is of the essence. But all praise to the Most High, man. Hope y'all having a blessed day. Um, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button, right? Go ahead and push this out. But we're gonna get right into it. So for today's video, we have a brother named West Coast Cam, right? And West Coast Cam is into the 5 percenter knowledge, right? I don't know if he is a 5 percenter or not per se, but he's into that knowledge, into that way of life. So I want to break that down a little bit, go into that very briefly, and then I'm gonna hit you with some scriptures and we're gonna reply to what he says on this video. Very excellent video, by the way. Very good topic. You know, I think it's gonna be edifying for the people. So without further ado, let me bring this up real quick. So this is the 5% nation. You can Google this. You can look it up. 5% nation, sometimes referred to as the nation of gods and earths, or the 5 percenters, is a black nationalist movement influenced by Islam that was founded in 1964 in the Harlem section of Manhattan by a brother named Allah the Father. His name before that was Clarence 13X, and before that, Clarence Edward Smith, right? Some notable people that you might know of that are 5 percenters, people like Rakim, right? Back in the day, Rakim, some of the brothers from the Wu-Tang clan, I believe they was some of them was 5 percenters, right? But check this out. It says members of the group call themselves Allah's 5 percenters, which reflects the concept that 10% of the people in the world are elites and their agents who know the truth of existence and opt to keep the 85% of the world in ignorance. The remaining 5% are those who know the truth and are determined to enlighten the 85%. Right. So I had to bring that out because this is important for what the brother Cam gonna say in this video. Now, before we jump into that, we got to deal with this brother Clarence. He called himself Allah the Father. And once again, they are establishing themselves based off of principles in Islam. So we know that Islam is not the truth, right? According to the scriptures, the Quran points you to the Bible, but the Bible don't point you to the Quran, right? And so we know that Islam is not the truth, but they have gone as far as to call this brother Allah, and to even further make it crazy, they call him Allah the Father, right? Let me see. Yeah, Allah the Father, right? So let me get Exodus chapter 20 and verse. I'm gonna start at 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. You see that? So once again, we understand that the people that follow this way of life, their vision is clouded. But I say that with all respect, because this brother in this interview that we're about to watch, fair use, fair use, fair use. This brother in this interview that we're about to watch, he brings out some excellent points, man, that have to be dealt with. So before I bring that up, let me go ahead and hit you with this disclaimer, and we're gonna get started. All right, all praises. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Once again, fair use, fair use. We do not own the rights to this video. This is from Viral Hip Hop News. You can see the entire interview there. Let's go. And we know he's talking about Kamala Harris right there, right? But I want to highlight something that he started with. He said that the reason he's saying Trump is the greatest president that we've had so far is because Trump was against big business. Trump was against the corporate takeover of America and of the economic system and of the political system here in America, right? And largely that's true. He's not the only president though. In on January the 17th, 1961, in his farewell address, President Dwight Eisenhower warned against the establishment of a military industrial complex, right? And that military industrial complex will be backed by foreign banks. And so Dwight Eisenhower called this out in the 60s. And then look what happened after he spoke about that. Then you have your Vietnam wars. Then you have your Afghanistan war. Then you have the Gulf War and the war in Iraq and all this type of stuff right here, right? And so why is this important? It's very important that the leader, let me take a step back. This is what he's highlighting here in this video, and this is what our so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American brothers and sisters should be thinking about, especially as it pertains to this Bible. You need a leadership structure that is not controlled by interests outside of your community, right? Right now, we have the entire world following America, right? Just as the scripture said it would happen. And not only America, but most of the white nations that rule this earth, right? So the world is following most of these white nations that rule the earth. And the problem is that a lot of these people, just as the 5%ers believe, the majority of people on earth are ignorant to this and they falling right into the trap. So what the Israelites teach and what the 5%ers teach is aligned right there. But really, for the most part, that's the only place where we align. Everything else is different, right? And we're gonna break into that a little bit. I'm gonna hit you with some scriptures first. So let's talk about this. He said Trump is the best president, and I agree on this point alone. Trump was not controlled largely by the political interests and the big business that a lot of these presidential campaigns are ran by, right? He had extra, he had outside, he had something else going on. Let's say it like that. He had something else going on, and that wasn't his primary driving force. The Bible tells us that this same driving force is Babylon the Great. Let me get it. This is Revelation chapter 18 and verse 2. And we're going to show you one from the New Testament and from the Old Testament. Right? Revelation chapter 18 and verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. You see that? And this is exactly what our people are addicted to: the power, the influence that comes from being in bed with these political institutions that's ran by America and other white nations, right? So these are things that we got to pay attention to, and these are things we have to be cognizant of. So what we're going to do is, actually, let me read two more verses. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God have remembered her iniquities. So with all that being said, it's clear and obvious that this nation, whoever the Bible is speaking of, this group of people has influence over all other nations, and they are ruling the earth, man, right? And they are causing their influence to change the landscape of the world. And the reason he points out that he likes Trump is because Trump was not allowing this nation to dictate how he was going to be a president. Now, I will disagree to a certain degree. We know that Trump was not totally independent, right? We know that there were forces behind the scenes that were moving him. But at the same time, we also see that there's a big campaign out against Trump right now. There's a big campaign to destroy and to smear his name, even on the right, on the political right. Right? We know the left not going to support him. We know the Democrats not going to support him, but even the right is not supporting him for the most part. So keep all that in mind and pay attention to what they did to your boy Kanye. But I'm going to let him keep going, right? Another thing he said, actually, let me get Daniel chapter 4 real quick, because I want to show you an example in the Old Testament of this same concept being shown. This is Daniel chapter 4. All right, Nebuchadnezzar has a dream about a tree, and then Daniel's going to break that dream down right here by the spirit and power of the Most High. This is Daniel chapter 4 and verse 20. The tree that thou sawest, which grew and was strong, and whose height reached unto the heaven, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and upon whose branches the fowls of the heaven had their habitation. It is thou, O king, that art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown and reacheth unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. It's very fitting that the first king of Babylon, his dominion was reaching to the end of the earth, right? And now Babylon the Great has caused all the nations of the earth to commit fornication with her through the wickedness and the unrighteousness that she is promoting throughout the earth. Right? We read about this also in Maccabees, right? At the beginning of Maccabees, when these so-called white nations begin to gain power in the earth. Let's read it. This is First Maccabees 1:1. And it happened after Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, had smitten Darius, king of Persia, and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. So this is the first so-called white ruler to put Greece on the map for real, on the earth. And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. You see that? Now watch this. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings and became tributaries unto him. This is all the same stuff that's going on now, right? Because there's nothing new under the sun. All right. And we can keep going, but we also read later that the evils will multiply in the earth, which is in verse 9. This is what I want to highlight. Verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so that their sons after them many years, and evils will multiply in the earth. The reason the evils will multiply in the earth is because no king could stand before him. Right? No king could stand before him. So now everybody on earth is being influenced by the way they moving. And it's get down or lay down type. You know what I'm saying? It's get down or lay down season. So that's what we got going on. So even now today, that same spirit is in the earth. And your brothers and sisters in the Christian church, in the Muslim community, they in the get down, lay down mode, man. Right? They're not really fighting against this. They're not really fighting against this monster that we call America. They're not really fighting against the EU. They're not really fighting against none of these economic forums that are being put together. They're not fighting against none of that. They're trying to work within that system to have a slice of paradise here on earth right now. Now, let's deal with this. Another thing he said, and I'm going to let the video play a little bit more. Another thing he said, an enemy of my enemy is temporarily my ally. Yo, that's a bar. An enemy of my enemy is temporarily my ally. I believe that wholeheartedly, right? And the thing is, this brother right here, because of his belief system, right? If that's his belief system, but because of his belief system, he understands that the people who are our enemies are the same people who are in control of Revolt Media, right? Where the Breakfast Club is, or the people who run, I believe the same people run Drink Champs, right? Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. Same people I believe run Drink Champs. All right. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. All right. Shalom, shalom. So with all that being said, An enemy of my enemies is temporarily my ally. You may not be my friend. I may not be able to lockstep and go hand in hand with you, but guess what? I do know that you fighting against the system. And that's kind of how we need to be looking at Kanye. That's how we need to be looking at Trump. That's how we need to be looking at a lot of these people, man. Don't put them necessarily in the category of friend, but definitely acknowledge the fact that they fighting against your enemies, and that is going to work to your benefit. And I got a precept for that. Let's get Romans 8:28. Because we got to move with wisdom. Everybody not a coon, right? Everybody not a coon. Some people just stupid. I'm not going to put nobody's name on that, but everybody's not a coon. Some of us just stupid. And then those of us who are not stupid, we not strategic, right? So it's a different energy on it, right? And then, okay, Adawan Kanal said you can't hear it. So I don't know what's going on with the sound, but I'm just going to hit you with the quotes of what he said, right? One of the main things he said in that video, and let me see if I can get the sound back up real quick because I actually need it. Hold on. Let me see if I can get that. I need that sound. All right, what about that? Tell me if you can hear that. Tell me if you can hear that. Right? Because I want to get to a part where he says wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. When he says that, it's important that we break that part down. He said, there's no sound. I need to know if I got the sound back. And I ain't going to be on here long at all. It was about to be a quick drop. Y'all can go back and watch the video and tell me what you think about it. Can you hear the sound? Right? Put a 7 in there if you can hear it. Let me see. I'm going to remove it and bring it back. Boom. Bring it back. Right? Okay, Khan. So right there, he said, hold on, let me bring this down. Let me bring that down. Okay. So I don't know if the sound gonna work. I don't know what's going on with the sound. But like I said, there was a couple of things he highlighted when he talked about Trump. Number one, he said, is it planned? So I could play it, but the question is anybody gonna be able to hear it? And I don't want to fool with it if nobody gonna be able to hear it. All right, check this out. Tell me if you can hear this real fast. Can we hear that? Nope. Okay, Khan, all praises. I ain't worried about it. So his main 3 points is that Trump was independently funded, right? And also that an enemy of his enemy is temporarily his ally. Those are the main things that he pointed out about why he likes Trump so much. And so I wanted to jump on that because that's a thought process that needs to be capitalized on, but also the 5%er thing, right? If our people get into that, and I'm gonna bring the brother up real quick. If our people get into that lifestyle of 5%er, they're gonna be in idolatry, right? Because although we do believe that our people are gods on this earth, speaking of the Israelites, although we do believe that, that don't mean that we nowhere on the close level of Yahushua, nowhere on the close level of the Most High God, right? We don't believe that. We believe the word Alahayim denotes power, and it denotes where our power comes from, right? Because the Most High created all things in general, and he in Christ, his son, is above all principalities and all powers. But at the same time, that don't put us on their level. So the nation of 5%ers, they would say that we all gods and actually God is in us and all this type of stuff, right? Now, let's talk about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's another thing he brought up. Another thing our people have to be wary of. Everybody who's screaming out knowledge, wisdom, and understanding don't know what they're talking about. All praise to the Most High. I appreciate you, King. All right. So, yeah, try it real quick. Let's see if it works.
Yeah. He's been indicted numerous times for numerous things. I don't know where you stand with him, but talk to us about Trump. What do you think is going on behind that? For real, for real.
I think Trump is the best president of our era. Not that he loves black people or even likes black people, but he's
Right.
the best because he is independent, funded. He got his own money. He got his own military scientists. You know what I'm saying?
Con,
That's Gentile. They're not from the small hat sector.
we can
You
stop
know what I'm
that
saying?
real quick.
And we already
I'm only
saw
gonna
what
be
he.
on here about 10 more minutes because I want to make this point clean, right? We don't even have to be on here long to make this point. The brother's making some good points. Trump may not be an ally of yours in the sense that he loves your people. He may not be an ally of yours in the sense that he even cares about your people. He's an ally in the sense that he's fighting against the same machine you fighting against. That's how he's an ally, right? Now, what does this mean? Trump will be the reason that a large majority of these so-called white conservatives will start to hate America. He's going to be a large catalyst for that. We've already seen it, right? He kind of passively was like, yeah, my people going to have my back. And then next thing you know, they storming the dang on the state house or the Capitol, right? These are important things to think about. The power that this man has. And for him to be at odds with the system, that's only a good thing for us. That's why I was reading Romans 8 and 28, right? Let me get it real quick. Romans 8 and 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and to them who are the called according to his purpose. The reason that verse goes on to say the called is because we're not saying everybody on earth, everything that happened is good for you. We saying if you called by the Most High and he set you aside for his purpose, right? To bring forth his will on earth and to be one of those righteous Israelites that repent and get the kingdom, yo, everything that happens is for your good. So when we look at this Trump situation, we really need to be retrospective about it. Be slow to call brothers coons when you don't understand a position. This brother is not a coon. Kanye West was not a coon when he was saying what he was saying. I believe Kanye, at that point in time, or Ye, I believe Ye at that point in time was seeing that Trump is an enigma that can't be understood. And Ye used that to capitalize. I don't believe him and Ye are friends. I don't believe that. I don't buy that. I believe Ye is an opportunist. Even the people that you would think he's close with, like a Big Sean, right? Back in the day, Common, John Legend, these people, you would have thought they was friends. But Ye seems to be the type of person who will use a person for their purpose and then move on to his next thing, right? Not saying he's a bad person, but that's what I believe. So if he was moving in wisdom, that's what he was doing with Trump. And y'all got to see that. Y'all got to see that, right? All praise to the Most High. Look what the brother posted. He said, Matthew 12 and 25, right? And Jesus knew their thoughts and said it to them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. That's what we trying to bring out right here. This is important information, right? And then another thing, the brother, I'm gonna let the brother say what he's gonna say here on this video, but he says another thing after that, right? And then I'm gonna respond to that. But remember that an enemy of my enemy is temporarily my ally. Go ahead and hit play on that.
He did. He went to war against his own big brother, behind the scenes, the IRS, the Federal Reserve,
Yep.
the Department of Justice, the FBI, the mainstream media. You ain't never seen no other president doing that.
Yeah, pause
And it
that real
wasn't
quick.
because he
And that's
loved
the
us.
reason I wanted to pause that is because that's not necessarily a true statement. Like I said, Dwight Eisenhower in 1961 in a farewell address warned the people of the establishment of a military industrial complex. He is one of the people that's noted as coining that term. right? In that speech. And he talks about the military industrial complex. I want to say, who's the president that was assassinated? I can't remember his name right now. John F. Kennedy. I want to say John F. Kennedy actually warned about a centralized banking system, right? A private centralized banking system. There you go, right there. All praise to the Most High. Look at that. The expression military industrial complex describes the relationship between a country's military and the defense industry that supplies it, right? So this is a conflict of interest. If you have a nation who has the power to go to war, you don't also want people who own the corporations that create weapons in the same room. You can't have that, because now it's a conflict of interest, and it's in their benefit to always be in war. That's what the military industrial complex is talking about. And Dwight Eisenhower warned us about that a long time ago. And a lot, he faced a lot of criticism for this. John F. Kennedy was assassinated. You know what I'm saying? All of the presidents who spoke about centralized banking, military industrial complex, and a lot of these things, they was all killed, right? So, or they was killed, or their character was destroyed and they didn't get reelected, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? However it worked. So, and we can pull that down. I'm gonna let him finish up. So that's the point of what he's showing you. So at this point in time, and think about it, let's backtrack a little bit more. Abraham Lincoln did not love black people, but Abraham Lincoln fought against his own nation of people, which was the Confederate Army, in order to preserve the Union, and that worked in our favor. Not saying he did that for us, but it worked in our favor. So this is the same principle that I'm pointing out. All things work together, right? Go ahead.
He had his own problem. He probably had his own selfish dictator reasons. I want to be king, and I want, but that's cool. The enemy of my enemy is temporarily, my ally. So he's the best choice if you're an intelligent person. He gonna tell you, okay, I don't like, excuse the language. I don't like what black people do. I don't like what Mexicans do. This is, he gonna let you know where he stands, as opposed to the fake liberals and I don't care about liberals or conservatives, but I'm really talking about the other cracker. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna act like they love you. The other slave master that's gonna act like they love you, and they're gonna hire a little so-called black woman, the HBCU,
talk about Kamala Harris,
whatever lady. You know what I'm saying? To further deceive our sisters, because our sisters is the majority. So if we can appeal to the sisters, so Biden is going to appeal to the sisters, Kamala going to appeal to the sisters, Stacey Abrams going to appeal to the sisters, the lady out here in Atlanta that did Trump, that indicted Trump. It's all empower the sisters to make the sisters feel like they power, they running the show. And it's these small hats, it's these people that control the money in the media that's puppet, that's put the battery in their back. And as soon as they get in trouble, now the masses of angry, infuriated, it could be redneck Trump supporters, 80 million, at least 80 million, we know, and they armed to the teeth. They about survivalists and militia and all of that, as they proved so-called on the January 6th.
Right.
Now,
hey, and let's fast forward about 2 minutes.
Say, we did
when to
this
get
to your
past
leader.
this part. Yeah, like 5:20 something. Yep, like right there is good.
Part 5, kill.
What is the real story of January 6th?
Here they
Many
go.
people have asked that question.
And look what they're
Some people
showing.
have described what happened on that day as an insurrection.
Yo, look what they're
Is
showing.
that really right?
Hey, pause that. That's
Our
crazy.
report is at the
You see that? That's the spirit. So because we talking about it so much, and we know how the Google algorithm works, but because we talking about it so much, the algorithm has picked it up, and now it's showing us an ad that points to the events that we talking about. Right? You can skip that. These people are crazy, man.
Okay, well, he thought they really raped him. You know what I'm saying? If I thought 5 crackers raped, my daughter, I'm gonna say they need to die too.
Right.
But once it's proven that they was innocent, then I gotta apologize. But I would have wanted them dead too. Right? So, but you using that as a way, he's racist. What president before Trump did worse than Trump, including Obama? And speaking
That's
of
what,
that,
and that's what I want our people to think about, right? I'm gonna stop it here. He said he mentioned the term. Y'all go back and watch this interview, Viral Hip Hop News. They always got some really good thought provoking stuff on there. But he mentioned the terms. Hey, and all praise to the Most High, the Water King. All right. So he mentioned the terms knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. All right. And I want to break those three terms down real quick. The 5%ers use that terminology as well because they feel like they have the actual knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the deep secrets of the Most High God, but they don't, right? We do. So let's look at it. This is Second Chronicles, chapter 1. Salakia.
I could read for you, Cap.
Okay, Khan, yeah. If you want to get that one, that's fine.
How about you? Shabrakata.
Hey, Shalom King. Y'all about Shem Yah Shabrakata. I only got like 2 more precepts and I'm done.
Can you call it out again?
Yep, Second Chronicles 1 and 10.
The book of Second Chronicles, chapter 1. The book of Second Chronicles, chapter 1 and verse 10. And it reads, "Give me now wisdom and knowledge, that I may go out and come in before this people. For who can judge this thy people that is so great?"
You see that? So Solomon asked for wisdom and knowledge from the Most High God so he can know how to judge his people. And in order to judge the people, you have to know the standard by which you're judging them, right? So wisdom and knowledge is connected to something deeper than just those 2 words. It's connected to a source and it's connected to something deeper, right? So if you're a 5%er, if you in the Nation of Islam, you got to ask yourself, are you connected to the same wisdom and knowledge that Solomon is connected to? And what was that? Right? Read the next verse.
God, verse 11. And God said to Solomon, "Because this was in thine heart, and thou hast not asked riches, wealth, or honor, nor the life of thine enemies, neither yet hast asked long life, but hast asked wisdom and knowledge for thyself, that thou mayest judge my people, over whom I have made thee king.
Come on.
Wisdom and knowledge is granted unto thee, and I will give thee riches and wealth and honor, such as none of the kings have had that have been before thee, neither shall there any after thee have the like."
You see that? So what is the source of wisdom and knowledge? The source of wisdom and knowledge is the Most High God, right? And we know that comes through the law, statutes, and commandments. I'm going to get a precept to show that. Let's get Job 28 and 28. And then I'm going to end out with Isaiah 8 and 20. Right? All classic precepts, nothing brand new. But we just here to show you that the stuff that's unfolding in front of you is all working for your good, right? You get a Trump raised up. They was confounded. They didn't even know how a guy like Trump could even be elected. It was a joke the first 6 months. Then it was like, hold up, they really gonna do this? And then he becomes the president.
Yeah.
Right. So it was an actual joke for a long time. Even with Ronald Reagan, it was a joke when he was getting ready to be president. When we see stuff like this, we know the timer is very close on this nation.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
It's the book of Job, chapter 28 and 28. "And unto man he said, Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding."
Hey, you see that? The fear of the Lord is wisdom. He said Trump was in WWF. I believe so. He looked like a brother that was in WWF. But look, the fear of the Lord is wisdom, right? And to depart from evil is understanding. So wisdom, knowledge, and understanding comes with you learning the path of your ancestors and walking that path, right? That's the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that will lead to true enlightenment and to true knowledge and wisdom amongst our people. Other than that, you're going to keep following the Kamala Harrises. You're going to keep following the Obamas, right? Obama recently, they got people coming out now saying that Obama was on some other stuff, right? Which is not surprising because what? He is the one that we're largely in gratitude for the type of nation that we live in today, man. right? With all of this homosexuality and transgenderism. We can be in gratitude to Obama, the person y'all voted for that, right? And I'm gonna end out. Let's end out with Isaiah 8:20. But at the end of the day, anybody who don't move by these laws, statutes, and commandments, and anybody who's not an Israelite in whom the breath of life is given, we can't really expect too much.
God. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
Hey, that's right. They're going to continue to grope in the noonday. They're going to continue to be blind and have eyes and see not, and ears and hear not. Hey, we love y'all. This is the Anointed House of Saints. Shalom.
This is not a test.
Black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, black skin.